What is up, friends? I am mid-workout and I want to show you this super awkward video of me reaching behind myself. I want you to see the way I'm squeezing my foot in this very center between the balls of my feet. There's the apex of what would be sort of the center that everything is converging on at the metatarsals, and there's a little dot there. I want to talk about that, not from this position entirely because I cannot hold it for that long and reach around with a camera. But that is representative of a pressure point that used to push on the ground when I walk. And now, because of the strength in my foot, I'm able to create relief on that point so it no longer is a very painful pressure point for me. As a result, now when I walk, it is not one of the first things collapsing towards the ground, and instead, the muscles of the ball of the foot and the transverse arch are supported by my intrinsic foot muscles and the plantar activation. So things that squeeze towards the floor, that's not just an ankle concept. You think of plantar flexion of the ankle, everything is going towards the plantar direction. So muscles that squeeze down towards the bottom of the foot direct that energy into the foot, lifting the arch. What I'm able to do now that I was not able to do is support that transverse arch. Transverse arch, medial lateral transverse arch. Check out, so you can Google that really easily. And if you notice, if you can kind of superimpose where that spot was, see if I can show you. From this angle, it's in the very center of my screen. I'm standing on one leg. In a super awkward position. Anyway, there's that little dot. So I was told that that was a Plantar's wart. It was actually surgically removed from this exact same spot in this poor foot when I was a teenager. And I just assumed it was the same thing when it came back in the exact same place. Strange coincidence. I didn't think anything of it because my brain was not open. And very recently, as I've begun strengthening this foot and I've been able to decompress the bottom of my foot that was previously bottoming out because my plantar flexor oriented muscles were not strong enough to support the integrity of that arch. So I was suffering a collapse there. That collapse was causing a pressure point right at the weakest link of the transverse arch, right? It's the middle of what is the little rainbow of your arch. So my palm is creating that same shape. It was like it was inverted at the apex, right? That's what was going on there. It was extremely painful for decades. I didn't have it surgically removed again because the surgery sucked really, really bad. It was really painful. And it didn't seem to work. It came right back. Right. So I was just embarrassed and figured I had some crazy contagious virus in my foot. Ew. Being extra careful in gyms to not try to spread it, at dance studios to not try to spread it, etc., at workout facilities. And instead, sure enough, it was a corn. It was a completely non-contagious and preventable and curable, in my instance, corn. Because now, whereas previously, not only did walking cause me a great deal of grief, because it would be pushing onto the floor and I was always filing it down. I mean, it's fucking disgusting. I'm sorry. But, you know, feet are feet. Now, look, I'm pushing the blood out of my thumb. So you can tell I'm pushing hard. Okay? No, I mean, I'm not going to tell you don't feel it because, I mean, I probably don't feel it too much more than I feel it anywhere else in my foot, to be really honest, which is amazing. But previously, if you've had one of these, if you've had a corn in the bottom of your foot, or what you thought was a Plantar's wart, maybe you really do have a Plantar's wart, I don't know. But if you have something that looks like this, in a suspiciously vulnerable part of your foot for collapse and pressure points, then, especially according to Dr. Emily, who was the first person in a video, I'll try to find it and link it, but was an offhand comment she made in response to a question in a webinar, blah, blah, blah. I'll see if I can find it. It was not a video about Plantar's warts and corns, but it was an offhand comment. And she was like, people think those are Plantar's warts, they're corns. And I was like, really? I didn't think anything of it, and I didn't know anything better until I started strengthening my foot, and sure enough, I've relieved the pressure on it. It's no longer like a cattle prod in the bottom of my foot zapping me because it was a corn that was burrowing in, right? A corn is like a callus that is inverted into your foot. So whereas you can get a callus that will develop rough skin and that will grow and be painful, right? Because it's getting abraded and whatnot. This is, you know, skin, your body's protecting itself. It's like you're putting a lot of localized pressure on me in a vulnerable place. It's trying to reinforce and protect itself, and there's probably a protective response of making it push on a nerve because it's protecting a nerve, and also to help you not step there. But that's extremely deforming to the way you walk, because if you're low-key limping because you're avoiding using your foot well, That's not good. So instead, you got to strengthen your foot like I have. I'm very proud to say on this foot I have, so that now there's relief in the same place that had been bottoming out, and the corn has basically gone away, all but the visual remnant, which is what I wanted to take this opportunity to show you. So if you have something that looks similar, again, not a doctor and I can't diagnose you, but maybe there's hope that you too can cure it and be relieved of that painful thing on the bottom of your foot. It's like literally having a huge rock in your shoe at all times, even when you're barefoot. It sucks, right? So you could possibly get rid of it by doing foot strengthening exercises. Please see the rest of my content. I'm here for it.